teaching peace all the world around. You and me, every city, every town. One by one in our work and in our play. We're teaching peace by what we do and what we say. It's up to us to show we care, reaching out to everybody everywhere, heart to heart, friend to friend, circling all around the world and back again.
Hello and welcome to this introductory program on the Baha'i faith. Have you ever met some Baha'is or gone through some books? Have you ever visited the Baha'i house of worship, popularly known as the Lotus Temple in New Delhi? Or did you know a Baha'i in India or abroad, or in the area you lived, or you live at present? In this program, we'll try to attempt to give you some information on the Baha'i teachings. The Baha'is believe in the oneness of mankind, oneness of God, and oneness of religion. Thus, unity is a guiding principle in the Baha'i faith. The lives of the Baha'is are centered around these three cardinal principles. Wherever they live, they try to create harmony and peace. The Baha'is work for the removal of prejudices based on caste, creed, religion, sex, color, race, and language. The Baha'i teachings state that this can be achieved through universal education and the inculcation of a spiritual and scientific outlook. True religion conforms to reason, and independent investigation is essential to arrive at truth. The Baha'i faith is thus free from superstitions, outdated ceremonies, rituals, dogmas, and priesthood. All the manifestations of God are one in their essence. The Baha'is believe that throughout history, the Creator has educated humanity through a series of divine manifestations. These manifestations include Krishna, Buddha, Abraham, Moses, Zoroaster, Jesus, and Muhammad. The divine messengers appear in the world from age to age. In this age, God has revealed Himself through Baha'u'llah, whose name means the glory of God. His appearance was foretold in all the holy scriptures and heralded by his forerunner known as the Bab, meaning the gate. The manifestations of God are perfect mirrors of his attributes and perfections. They provide a pure channel for the communication of God's will for humanity. Their advent is like the coming of the spring that gives potential to the plants to bear fruit. Baha'u'llah teaches, the religion of God is for love and unity. Make it not the cause of enmity and dissension. The acts of prayer and meditation are emphasized in the Baha'i faith. These are important instruments for the progress of human soul, both in this world and the next world. The Baha'is pray to one true God, the creator of the universe. It is considered a must for every human being to pray and meditate on the words of God every day. The act of praying is described as a conversation with God. Meditation is perceived as the key for opening the doors of mysteries. In that state, man withdraws himself from all outside objects and is immersed in the ocean of spiritual life. In the Baha'i holy writings, there are prayers for all occasions. Prayers can be offered individually or collectively. Great importance is given to prayers revealed in all scriptures. However, the Baha'i writings specify that the mere act of praying is not sufficient. The inspiration drawn from one's prayers must be translated into activities that promote the well-being of humanity. The Baha'i houses of worship enshrine the twin concepts of worship and service, both so important to the regeneration of the world. In future, these houses of worship will be surrounded by service institutions such as schools, orphanages, hospitals, scientific institutions, and the like. The Baha'is view their houses of worship as the dawning places of the praise of God. In their sanctified precincts, prayers and sacred verses are recited from all holy scriptures in a ritual-free environment. At present, there are 7 Baha'i houses of worship in the world, and all of them are famous for their architectural designs as well as the peaceful atmosphere that prevails therein. The Baha'i house of worship in India, in the shape of a blooming lotus, has gained a monumental status not only in the country but all over the world. Apart from the emphasis on the houses of worship, the Baha'i writings specify that any place is exalted where mention of God is made and His praise glorified. Worldwide Baha'i community. Today the Baha'is live and work in some 120,000 localities in 187 independent countries and 45 dependent territories around the world, embracing people from more than 2,110 ethnic, racial and tribal groups. The Baha'i faith is quite likely the most diverse organized body of people on the planet. The Baha'i literature has been translated into more than 800 languages of the world. No wonder, based on the geographic spread of the faith, the 1992 Encyclopedia Britannica Book of the Year describes it as the second most global faith. The World Christian Encyclopedia has further reported that it is amongst the fastest growing of the independent religions of the world. In India at present, there are 2.2 million Baha'is. They run many service projects in the country such as schools, training institutes for youth and women, moral education classes and tutorial schools. Many of these have won prestigious awards. The Baha'i Vocational Institute for Rural Women at Indore was conferred the Global 500 Award at Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. The Rabbani School at Gwalior was conferred the prestigious Friends of the Trees Award by the Prime Minister of India. The Baha'i literature has been translated into all the regional and national languages of India. History of the Baha'i faith. The prophecies regarding the appearance of a universal manifestation of God are found in all the holy scriptures. On May 23, 1844, His Holiness the Bab revealed his mission and started preparing his followers for the great event of the appearance of the Promised One. Some of his first followers were from India. The Promised One, by the name of Baha'u'llah, literally the glory of God in English, or Vishnu Yasha in Hindi, appeared in the 19th century. In 1863, he unveiled his true station to his believers and made the great announcement to all the kings, queens, and political and religious leaders of the world. Imprisoned, persecuted and exiled for his spiritual and social teachings, rooted in equality and justice, from the country of his appearance, Iran, he ascended to the spiritual realms in 1892. In this slide here, you see the shrine of the Bab at the slopes of Mount Carmel, the holy mount at Haifa, Israel. The next slide shows you the resting place of His Holiness Baha'u'llah. The nascent faith of Baha'u'llah, however, continued to grow from strength to strength under the able guidance of its much loved master Abdul Baha and stewardship of its guardian Shoghi Effendi. In 1963, the supreme Baha'i body, the Universal House of Justice, came into being as per the provisions in the Baha'i holy writings. It now supervises the worldwide affairs of the faith. The world headquarters of the Baha'i faith are now situated in Israel, where the mortal remains of the central figures of the faith lie interned. Here you see the seat of the Universal House of Justice at Haifa, Israel. Beautiful gardens surround it, and visitors flock to this magnificent temple. Global administration. There is no clergy in the Baha'i faith. The Baha'is run their affairs through a distinctive system of global administration, featuring a network of democratically elected international, national, regional and local level governing councils in more than 18,000 localities in 165 countries. In India, there are presently 1,650 local and 25 state level governing councils. All of these, along with the National Governing Council, are re-elected every year. This system of administration is indeed very essential because the Baha'i faith offers a blueprint for a better world, about which you will hear slightly later. United Nations and the Baha'i faith. The Baha'is enjoy a close relationship with the United Nations. The Baha'i faith has accredited representation with the United Nations headquarters in New York. The Baha'i International Community has been listed as an international non-governmental organization since 1948. The community seeks to promote the goals of the United Nations Charter, such as peace, economic and social advancement of all peoples, and the promotion of universal human rights. Since 1970, the Baha'i International Community has been given consultative status with the Social and Economic Council. The community also presents various theme papers on various occasions in the United Nations. Opinion of the world leaders. Many world leaders, kings, queens and rulers have paid rich tributes to the Baha'i faith. The Supreme Court of India has observed that a neutral perception of the requirement for communal harmony is to be found in the Baha'i faith. Similarly, on the next slide, you see the famous quotation from Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the Indian nation, on the Baha'i faith. He aptly said, "The Baha'i faith is a solace to mankind." Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, a former President of India, described the Baha'i faith as a sign of our times. He further added, "The Baha'i movement is in keeping with the great spiritual tradition of India, and I therefore welcome it and wish it well." Of course, a great scholar like Dr. Radhakrishnan would have had his reasons. One of the reasons is that the Baha'i faith has a blueprint for a better world. In the words of its guardian, the Baha'i faith upholds the unity of God and His prophets, recognizes the oneness and wholeness of the whole human race, proclaims the necessity and the inevitability of the unification of mankind, delineating institutions that must establish and perpetuate the general peace of mankind. Further, the faith advocates unfettered search after truth and emphasizes the essential harmony between science and religion. It calls for purging humanity of superstitions, rituals, and prejudices, insists on universal compulsory education, urges the creation or the selection of an auxiliary international language, and unequivocally maintains the principle of equal rights, opportunities, and privileges for men and women. It endorses elimination of extremes of poverty and wealth and exalts any work performed in the spirit of service to the level of worship. The faith abolishes priesthood, prohibits slavery, asceticism, mendicancy, and monasticism, prescribes monogamy, and discourages divorce. Thus, it views religion as an instrument for the creation of a peaceful and progressive society. Well then, we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for being with us. Now you are invited to investigate the Baha'i faith and find out more about its peace-giving teachings aimed at unifying the whole humanity in one common cause, one universal faith. Please do not hesitate to ask for some more literature, or you can join the faith if you feel convinced about its wonderful teachings. Thank you very much for showing interest. We shall be very happy to be of any help.
I have my love, and you have your love, but they're the same love. And when we share our love, surely then the whole world will be one. And when we share our love, surely then the